good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unlock Show. I'm Tracy Wilson. And wow, for you guys that are with us inside of the Successful Virtual Business Family and Life, this is a bit of a novelty for you all, isn't it? You do not normally see myself and the amazing Vickie Helm together on one show, or we haven't been for such a long time. And we decided we've been working on a couple of little really special projects that we've been doing over the last year, and we wanted to kind of share some stuff with you. And today's topic is around how do you build Tony Robbins like influence and authority really fast without spending years trying to create celebrity status. So if you think about the likes of Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, Brian Tracy and the like, all of those really big gurus, and how long it's taken them to build the amount of celebrity status and, build their business around who they are. It's taken them years and years. But there is this amazing thing that's happened. And as I said in the precursor to this, something big is actually happening, and it's happening right now that is making a massive difference. And it's actually bringing the unknown expert, and it's enabling you to really step up and run with the big guns like the Tony Robbinses, like the Brian Tracys, etc., really, really quickly. And the time is happening now. So let's get stuck into this. You guys already, if you're in the Success Secrets group, Vickie Helm needs no introduction. She's amazing inside of the group, runs the Coffee Break show. Her and I are very, very good friends and business partners in Metadime Digital. And like I said, we're doing some really special projects. Today's topic, who else would I get to talk about this? Who else would I get to speak on this subject of building influence and authority and how to do it really, really quickly? But the amazing Vickie Helm. So, hey, Vic, welcome to the show. Nice to have you inside the Unlock Show.
I know. I mean, I'm really excited to be here. I was like, I talked to you. This is really cool to be on your show. This is really fun.
It is a lot of fun. Normally, Vic and I, we have conversations like this regularly. Every day we're on a team meeting, but she's not yet been on the Unlock Show. So we're going to have a few special appearances from Vic over the next couple of weeks, because there's some really important things that we need to share with you about why now is the right time to do some of the stuff that we're going to talk about, why it is so big, and how you can really set yourself up to build yourself a platform with influence and authority, so that 2020 has been a bit of a shite year for a lot of people, but 2021, we can use the back end of 2020 to really start bedding down some foundations to make sure that 2021 is extremely powerful. So if that's what you want to do, if you've thought, you could just kiss 2020 goodbye and you're ready to welcome 2021, and you want to do it in a way that's going to be like you've never done before, just tell me in the comments today. Just type in the comments and say, I'm ready for a big 2021, because if that is the case, you want to make sure that you're tuning in to the Unlock Show and you're listening to what we're talking about over the next few weeks. So let's get stuck in. Let's kind of talk about some stuff let's try to set the scene, talk about how we used to create influence and authority pre this whole COVID pandemic situation. What did we used to do? And maybe even just some of the things that some of those top celebrities used to do that they actually can't be doing now. What are we seeing in that space, Vic?
Oh yeah, pre-pandemic, there's a system you could make your living, and they say you make your living from event to event. And the first thing, obviously, is all events have been canceled. So all speaking gigs, doesn't matter how powerful a speaker you are, whatever, all that was gone. And then there was always a course of building authority. Back then, they didn't have platforms like we have right now that are so powerful. So you'd have to write a book, write a lot, do a lot of speaking. You did workshops and seminars and one-to-ones, anything you could do to get in front of a group of people, or, a solid system, so that you knew from this start to this start how much traveling you had to do. And that all sounds fun. It all sounds fun when you pack your bags and you put all that stuff together, but it's a lot of work going from conference to workshop to seminar to everything else so that you make a living. And the way you made your money was you sold from stage. So if the audience had 100 people in there and you closed 20% of the audience for there, so you'd have 20 people who bought your product, and you'd sell from stage is how we made money then.
And that was really the thing that everybody was doing, right? There was like two big pushes. Well, in fact, when I think about the ways that you sell, there's essentially three ways that you can sell your product and or service. And they are in a one-to-one situation. I've done heaps and heaps of that, and I know you have too. Then we've got the one-to-many, and where Vickie's talking about, sort of speaking from stage, that's the space that sits in. So it's like, speaking to a confined group of people at a set time. And that has kind of been the rug's been pulled out from under us, and where we used to do that, we're just not able to do it anymore. The other thing that we used to do, which I know you are super familiar with because you've written so many flaming books, is the in the space of like book writing. Like the thing was, write a book. That's going to give you influence and authority. And obviously that takes quite some time to do. A book could be 12 months in the making, right? And then you've got to market it. And then the pathway was, now you're going to get onto a stage. The book was the thing that would get you on the stage. That's worked in the past. Now we've kind of seeing this massive shift, aren't we? Like this big thing has happened where the likes of the Tony Robbins and the Brian Tracy's and the like, not only is the rug being pulled out from under the likes of you, who are the people that were on stage, it's also happened to them.
Yeah. It's happened to all of those people. It's interesting too, because there was a time where people were making a lot of money teaching people how to be speakers. How do you speak on stage, and how do you speak and present and close? And there's a lot of trainings that people would go. You'd spend years honing your craft at that, and being able to sell from the stage. That's a skill set all in of itself. But that's gone. I mean, that's really gone. And it wasn't just selling from the stage, because you used to be able to do a funnel. You can do a funnel. You did, but that was pre-COVID. You could do a funnel right now. But now that funnel is there, but the pre-thing, nobody wants to sit through an hour and a half webinar. People want sound bites. They make it smaller. It's become like Twitter sales, very small sound bites, etc. There's a whole new thing growing from it. But in the past, those people, all of those online classes, all of those books written, all of those programs, they do not apply to the future. Now the future of that is gone. That platform is gone. The stages are gone and I think it's going to be maybe 23, maybe 24 will be allowed to go to live events again. So, it's a few years.
Yeah, I mean, what's really interesting, one would hope, because I just, personally, I love going to those types of events.
Me
and
too.
One would hope that one day they will come back. But, just on a completely side note, our major airline carrier here in Australia, Qantas, has actually said that you won't be able to fly on their airline unless you've had a COVID vaccination. So, there's a lot of this sort of stuff coming into play now, which is also going to limit the amount of, movement that is happening around the world. So your ability to be able to get on that global stage at that level and have the huge audiences that we've had before, people are a bit frightened of doing that. We have to find another way. And thankfully, we've figured out this beautiful system that actually enables you to create celebrity-like influence and authority that actually creates more business for you and increases your status without necessarily leaving the comforts of your home. There is no need for you to pack a bag. There is no need for you to get on a plane or, be told that you have to have a COVID and vaccination before you can go and speak to anybody. So, with that being said, Vic, why do we think like this particular change? Why do we think that now is the time where kind of those two worlds have aligned? Like we've got the unknown expert, so that person that's sitting at home or in their office who's really darn good at what they do. They want to get their message out to everybody, but the stages are gone. Writing a book takes such a long time,
Yeah.
not going to be able to happen. And then you've got the likes of all these big guns, that have taken years and years to try and build their celebrity status and get their message out, which used to be the stage and events and all that sort of thing. Well, they're doing they're doing something really different now. The two worlds have almost I'm going to say, they've collided. And right now is that time where we've got almost the big bang, where the divide between the unknown expert and that celebrity has just been is diminished. It is no longer there.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And if we take a look at what's no longer there, it's not just the stages that people speak on, but Hollywood is kind of diminishing. And here's two very important facts, and it has nothing to do with COVID and the pandemic while this event is happening. Number one, people love reality TV. They love it. But reality TV to them isn't The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Reality TV, what that is when you get on and you see those puppy and kitty videos where the dog is howling and everybody's, oh, that's so cute. Or you're out there showing a picture of your real life, whether it's camping, a graduation, a marriage, something that thrills people or something that breaks people's hearts. That's reality TV to them. And the reality conversation is what's happening. The second thing is you'll notice celebrities, and I mean big celebrities, they're not, Friends is off of, the regular cable. It is now Apple TV, where you find Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon just did, I forget the name of the show together, but it's now on a streaming app. People like to stream versus watch TV. They don't want the commercials, but they want something to look at, like Red Table Talk on Facebook Live. Facebook Live is booming right now, booming. These platforms are becoming the central way that we communicate to the masses. It's the new event stage. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's really interesting that you talk about that, because I want to talk about a client that we've been working with. And she's not this client that we've been working with is not even in she's never done a Facebook Live, or had never done a Facebook Live. She had been in the corporate space, and getting her to the point where she really knew that she wanted to get her message out there, build her authority and her influence, and she wanted to do it fast. So she asked us to help her create a system and a process that would enable her to do that, which we call the ACE method, right?
That's right.
That building the influence, the connection, and the exposure. We need to have all three of those things, and that really is the recipe that the likes of all these big guns have done. It's those three things, the ACE method. So anyway, she started out with this, and it was really interesting because she said to me, she kind of got a bit hung up in the technical side of things. I've got to have this camera and that camera and this background, and wanted to make her message delivered in a way that looked really, really high end.
Yeah.
And as I was talking to her, I'm saying, what's really interesting now is the shift that you've just talked about, is that people want to get close to you. They want to see
That's
you.
right.
It's almost like they can put their hand through the video camera now and almost touch us, right? It's like that's the kind of connection that people are looking for.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily that really high-end, published and produced type situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, this went on for a little while. It took a little bit of convincing. And funnily enough, she's now 3 shows in, and she rang me yesterday and she said, oh my God, Trace, somebody rang me. I don't know how many phone calls I've taken over the last, 2 weeks, because I've done, I'm doing what you've told me to do with the ACE method. And I'm getting phone calls from Ireland, from Australia, from New Zealand, from America, all people wanting to work with my business. It's just like, I've really got to think now how I can man up my business to cope with the new influx of business. But she also said, somebody said to her, I love your show. It's like and this was one of her viewers. I love your show because I feel like I'm really close and personal with you. It's not overproduced. It's not, there's nothing, it's really professional, but it's not, fancy. You don't have to do that. And I love the fact that it's super authentic. So I think there's some, in that I smiled because all the things in terms of the ACE method of bringing all of this together and kind of creating that collide and that boom of you can be a celebrity just like a Tony Robbins and a Bob Proctor and a Russell Brunson by doing some simple things that we've been doing with that ACE method.
Yeah, you know what's interesting, Tracy? This is the exciting thing. It used to be that celebrity was way up here. Now celebrity has levels. The first thing is be a celebrity in your industry with your topic. The second is once you're a celebrity in this industry, then you can make the next piece of content, which for me is a book. So once you get here, you have a book to market. That book then market takes you out of just in your industry to probably country centric. Like most people write a book for their whatever country they're in, but then it grows worldwide for you and it takes your message worldwide. So that second step is you begin to become global. And now with the likes of some of the platforms we have, your audience is everywhere all the time, anytime you want. It's a vastly different way to grow your influence and authority over time. And it so empowers the individual because what people want to see and meet is you. They don't want to meet the glamorous you with the, whatever. They want to meet you warts and all. They want to meet you. I like live shows because when I screw up, we all have a good laugh. And you're there being real. And Brene Brown has made vulnerability sexy in our life right now. And when you can be vulnerable and open and just say, this is me, I'm the average person. This is reality TV. I'm going to share with you my tips and tools and techniques so that you can go ahead and, use them. And you're just sharing with people. It's like having a cup of coffee, having a contact with them and being actually really close to them. And I love that. I love it.
Yeah, there's something about, that is sort of that second piece of that ACE process, which is the connection. Is like really, if like you're saying, if you create something that is super authentic, warts and all, I'm just like you. I make mistakes. Shoot, I've been on a show and my audio hasn't worked, or the camera's gone wonky, or something happened. It's normal, and when people can see that there is normality, they can see that, hey, do you know what, I'm like, she's like me. You allow them the opportunity to have a go, no longer have you got the barrier up between you. Yes,
that's like the most important thing. And believe it or not, a long time ago, a mentor of mine who was coaching me said to me, if you set yourself on fire, the world will come and watch. And what he meant by saying that wasn't throw gasoline and light a match. That wasn't when he said, when you can show yourself completely, when you can let your core essence out, when you can actually show up no matter what, no matter who's watching, no matter when, people will show up because authenticity is the single most powerful tool of connection that you have. And here's what I want you to know. You don't get that all the time at live events. That's the beauty of what's happening here. It's like consciousness is leveling up. When you're at live events, you're wearing your best suit. You're wearing your pearls or, best watch if you're a guy, but you are duded up to be on stage. Your makeup and hair is perfect. And when you're doing shows like this, what I want you to know is what's my heart, what's my connection. I want to share my message with you because I want to make a difference in the world, a difference in your life. And I want you to know that you matter. You matter. And that's really what we can get across when we go live, when we do these kinds of shows that are all about reality, even in your pain. Like, honestly, I have had a day on the show where I literally broke down and cried. And my audience was like, we're with you and thank you for your heart and everything else. They actually want to be with you. They want to stand with you. So it's an interesting time to have that kind of connection. But I will tell you, connection equals exposure. And
Yeah.
that's that next. Connection equals exposure. If you don't have connection, you will not have exposure. More BS detectors are out right now, and exposure is what everybody needs to have in order to get their message out. Yes?
Absolutely. And I mean, you only think about, as humans, we crave that connection. Humans
Mm-hmm.
need connection. We need to be able to, we like to touch and feel one another. And
Yeah.
given, yes, this current situation has meant that in some countries, we're not able to do that. You can't just go and hug your neighbor next door or go and have a drink with them. It's not doable. So this is a way that, I'm able to get up, I can chat with people, and I actually feel like from the other side, like, people feel connected with me because I get messages all the time asking me various different things, but I also feel very connected to the outside world. So because of the fact that I'm able to jump on something like this and actually speak to an audience without necessarily having an audience in front of me.
Yeah. And, I want to say that I think there are a lot of really good people who do that. I want to talk about Russell Brunson, because I've known Russell Brunson way back. People talk about the potato gun days at the Dan Kennedy events and stuff back then, where who was speaking there, et cetera. And one of the things that Russell has been able to do is he's got a great product and he's got a great system. But when he talks about it, he has so much authenticity when he talks about it. And that single key builds the trust, that builds the influence, that builds the celebrity that you're trying to get. It's not just that you're connecting, it's that you're connecting deeply, consistently. He's never not who he is. I've looked at thousands of videos, or hundreds and hundreds of videos from him. He is always authentic 100% of the time. And that's what makes trust happen. And when you get that trust, you begin to develop your celebrity. Now, I know some of you may be, I want to be the top in my industry, or I want to be the top speaker in the world. But I think it's more important right now for you to say, who do I want to serve? What's the group of people I want to serve? That singular statement is why your friend is doing so well. That client you're working with is doing so well because she knows who she wants to serve. And when she connects with them in that way, the first step isn't how to take the quantum leap to be famous. You're not looking for fame. You're looking for something that is not short-term. Fame is short-term. And exposure and celebrity is long-term. And you want to go for a long-term with someone, and because that stabilizes your business. And you have to be able to stabilize your business in order to do that.
Yeah, you want stability and you want profitability over the long term.
That's right.
I love Russell too, and you're absolutely right. The things that we've seen of him is very authentic, and that's actually what, like, if you actually look at his business model, the product, as much as it's great, it's not the best in the market. But I tell you what, he has built a following because people follow him.
They love him.
They like him and they trust him. So he's got those three things, which is that part of the A in the ACE. So he's got that down pat. So therefore people will buy, he could sell a potato gun. Who would have thought? And people will buy it because of the know, like, and trust factor.
Yeah. And he does not hide when he's in pain. He doesn't hide when he's excited. But the factor that I love about him most is something that you just said about how people love what he represents. Yes. It's not just, I want to be a funnel hacker, but he is the most ethical guy in the industry. He's the most integrous man, and everybody knows that that's who he is. Why? Because he displays in front of you 100% of the time. If it's displayed over and over and over and over again. Like, I remember watching him when at a conference, when pre-COVID, when he was at a conference and he was talking about sex trafficking of kids. And he was so upset by that. He got to the point where he was quivering and started to cry on stage. Thousands and thousands of people on big screens, and he could let himself have his feelings. have his moment in that. And that brought us closer to him. It didn't push us away.
Absolutely.
And that's so important for longevity in any industry.
It is having that connection piece, like going the next step is being so connected to your mission and your cause that you feel it in every part of your being. And when you have that, you can't help but exude that from almost, from the pores of your body. That's just what happens. And you get so connected to him.
Yep.
I mean, I remember that day and the number of people that ran to the back of the room and signed up to then donate to that particular cause.
Thousands.
Because of the way in which Russell presented it. Risa was just saying that Russell's got charisma. He's got it in spades.
Absolutely.
For sure. But at the end of the day, do you have to have charisma, to be able to get an audience to follow you?
It's so interesting that you say that. Now, I'm going to say this in two parts. One, authenticity, just be yourself. Now, second thing, yourself is malleable and it's trainable and moldable, and you can become and become and become better and better and better and better. It just doesn't mean be yourself and you're the same way you are. So my very first show online, I was a little nervous, and I remember not being able to look at the camera. And I was like, you're a professional speaker. You've been this way for, 10 years, but somehow going live like that, we're looking at a camera and just talking like this somehow freaked me out. So I was like, hi, welcome to the Coffee Break Show. I'm so glad you've joined us today. We're just going to have a couple of conversations. You have to be not afraid to let yourself kind of screw it up, while you're there, and just know how you're feeling, but show up. And then you can improve and improve and improve as you go to. And that, believe it or not, when they see you improve, they're still connected with you. They trust you more. They're like, oh, well, she screwed that up. And we all laughed and she was cool about it. Man, people love you when you do that, when you're authentic like that, when you're okay to just hang out and mess up in front of everyone,
It's interesting that you would say, this is quite doing this sort of stuff, being live on a video, and these are not recorded, right? When we do our shows, they're not recorded; they are live. What you see is what you get. If we fall off our chair, well, you're going to see the whole thing, right? So whatever happens on the set, on the show is actually happening. We don't cut anything out of these. So they're someone's saying spontaneity. So anyway, when we're doing that, it's very different to preparing, like you alluded to this earlier, preparing to be on stage. When you're going on stage, you've probably done weeks and weeks and weeks of rehearsal, of like stage presence training, of preparing yourself mentally. They call it getting yourself into state to actually be on the stage and be present. But yet, then taking an amazing speaker like you on stage and now saying, okay, Vic, let's get you in front of a camera and push go. All of a sudden it's like, oh, you melt, and it's like, shit, what do I do? Where do I look? Who
I don't know. Yeah, it's so true. You're like, why? But now I've done 400 shows. I'm about ready to hit my 400th show online. And I've learned so much, and I'm so thankful for the feedback from my audience that I've gotten. But here's the thing. The most important thing, and what's important for you to know right now, is that I know you're probably saying, how do I get my message out? How things are different now. How do I help other people? Now, I know I'm talking to some specific people here who have a purpose or purposefulness, that they know they can make a difference in the world, that they know that there's something poking at their heart right now, and that's saying, I want to be somebody. I want to do something great. And you know what? I know what that means. And I don't think it's embarrassing to say, I want to be somebody. I want to go ahead and get my message out. I know I'm supposed to get it out. And you're right, you're supposed to. But the methods that have been used in the past are not going to come forward with us. which is why you can find Will Smith on YouTube. And his wife is on Facebook Live with their daughter and their family. Gloria Estefan and the Estefans are now doing Red Table Talk as well. We're talking a rock and roll star and just absolutely one of the biggest survivors of an accident who got the Presidential Medal of Honor, has her show now on Facebook Live because she knows that's where everybody's starting to move to, these streams. Doing that correctly and building that celebrity is different than going to LA and going to a bunch of auditions and hoping to God you get a part on a sitcom that goes as famous as Friends or as famous as whatever sitcom you want to look at. And then finally you have celebrity that way. It's different now than going to write your book and then taking your book and speaking on stage and flying here and there. That's not how celebrity is built right now. And the third thing that's most important is celebrity looks different. Celebrity isn't about how posh you look or how, if you take a look at Tony Robbins, when he goes on stage, he's got jeans and a t-shirt on. Mm-hmm. And that jeans and a t-shirt. If you take a look at like Joel Comm, who he spoke in front of 30, 40, 50,000 people. I've seen audiences so big that it just blows your mind how many people are out in the audience. And he's got, a t-shirt, a sport jacket and jeans on. And so there's a different style of what's happening. People want to see more realness and not what used to be celebrity. Celebrity looks very different right now. And those points have to be made so that you know who your audience is. And you're going to be talking to them on a real, here's my warts and all basis, sharing your tips, your tools, and all the things that you want to share with them, connecting with them on a way where they see you, warts and all, not you, perfection and all. And before, celebrity was perfection. You know what I mean? Celebrity had this, I have the fancy car, the fancy house, the makeup on, the perfect hair, and I'm perfect all the time, even when I get out of bed in the morning.
Absolutely, that's right. I mean, that is what we used to aspire to, but now, like the world has changed, and I don't know about you, but personally, I much prefer to do this at home. And if I want to, I can have barefoot, and still show up and do a great show. So. One of the things that, I mentioned this right at the beginning, this is a project that Vickie and I have been working on and the team for over almost a year now. It's like perfecting how we jump on our shows. Every show is a little bit different. If you go to Vickie's show, her coffee break show is different to the Unlock show. Scott Stevens' show is different to the coffee break show and the Unlock show. And all of our clients, they have their own way. Why? Because it's about you showing up and being your authentic self. You mold your show the way that is comfortable for you. But there are certain things that you must create when you must do when you're doing this, right? So there's one thing to show up and just talk. There's another to actually craft your message in a way that builds authority, creates connection, and also gives you exposure, which, if you haven't already figured it out, is the ACE method. So one of the things that Vic and I have been doing is working on a project, and I can see we're pretty excited about it because it is an amazing project that is actually going to help loads of people next year spread their message, gain the status and the influence and authority that you need to build yourself a sustainable and very profitable business in 2021. Should we kind of, now we've opened that loop up, Vic, should we tell them a little bit more about it and what's going to happen from here and where we can go?
Well, don't give away everything, but I'm really excited about it. And let's give them some fun tips. Let's see what, let's share a little bit. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, the first thing you guys can do is if you want to build you're wanting to build what we call an anchor platform, which is create your own show to share the right message. So actually getting the right message, because there needs to be this connection. There needs to be the connection between what it is that you're talking about, so who you stand for and who you need to become to serve your audience at the highest of levels. So there's that piece. Then there's a piece in the middle that is like building the connection. So how do I actually do that, and all the technology, etc., that you need? And then the other piece is, how do I actually profitize or monetize what it is that I'm doing? So there's all these components that you align and you connect together to make a really good system. So we're about to launch a brand new product, and it's called the Influence and Authority Method. What I'd recommend you guys do now, if you are at all interested in really creating something amazing in 2021, you want to take your business to the next level, I would recommend that you head on over, and I'm going to put a link at the bottom of the screen right now. So you're going to head over to Influence and Authority. Let me grab it. Here we go. So it's the influenceandauthority.com/waiting-list. So you can go there, get yourself on the waiting list. We've got the brand new program coming out. It'll be out first day. Everybody will be in it. It's the 7th of December. We are only taking a very limited number of people. That is, that's it. How many are we taking, Vic?
We're taking 20. That's what 20.
So
that's
20.
it.
And the number that we've got, that they will be the people that we're going to take through the first lot of programs. So if you want to start your show off in the new year, not just a show, it's not just about showing up and doing this. That's actually the easy part. It's all the other things that go into it. The hows to's, getting your message right, finding out who your audience is, who do you need to become, what tech do you need to use. We're talking the whole kit and caboodle. We're going to give you our tools, our resources, the whole lot to help you build a really solid platform in 2021. So if you are at all interested in doing that, even if you're a little bit scared and shy, we'll be able to
just do it. Right now, it's one of the most important things you can do right now. And I want to share some of the most important things she said. You have to be willing to do this correctly up front. It's like your foundation of how you set it up is going to be the most important thing that you can do, because it's going to catalyze you later out to your audience, out to the world, and getting your message out for you, and monetizing it so that you're actually eating and paying your bills on time and having fun money. These are all things that have to happen in a certain sequence, and everything has shifted. It's not like it was like, well, I know how to do that from the past. It's not going to work going forward. And this is a time where really we want to share with you, the reason we have this is so that you don't have to go through the learning curve and the, oops, I made this mistake. You get to avoid all that and take this quantum leap in your authority and your influence, even if you have 0 right now, because if you're an unknown expert, you aren't helping anyone. You have to break the shackles of being the unknown expert, and you need to stop being the best kept secret, and you need to move to being the talk of the town. And that's really what we're talking about helping you do here, moving that and creating attention and volume and capacity for you.
Absolutely. And if you want to do it quickly, then what do you usually do? Well, you follow somebody else who has done it, and you use their systems, their processes, their formulas, and their tools and their resources. And inside of the program, that's exactly what we're going to be providing with you. So if that's something you want to do, like I said, you got to head over to influenceandauthority.com/waiting-list. Get on that waiting list. When it's ready for you, when the cart opens, we'll make sure that you guys are the first to know. And by the way, you'll get a massive discount on the at the launch time before anybody else does.
Yeah, we're not ever doing it at this price again. Not ever.
So in the next couple of episodes, so this Friday, I'm going to say happy Thanksgiving to all of our viewers that watch in the USA. Super, super grateful for every single one of you that joins the Unlock show. Thank you for making it the show that it is today. And I will have no show on my Friday, Brisbane time, because it will be Thursday, Thanksgiving in America, and I want to make sure that all of our viewers have an opportunity to spend valuable time with their friends and families if they can. And we'll be back again. So actually, Vic and I are going to be back again next Wednesday on the Unlock show. We're going to be talking about how a topic around why this is so important and how it actually secures your IP. How can you make sure that you protect yourself in this environment? Because this is also super important, and it's something that most people do not do. There is a method and a way of doing it, and we're going to talk about that on the next show, and why you should actually do it and why it's so important, and how that leads to an increase in profit and increases the value of your business. So that will be the topic next Wednesday. We'll be back on the Unlock Show, 10 a.m. Brisbane time. So join us then. And then the following Friday, we'll also be doing another show, which will be wrapping up this, so that you guys have an opportunity to join the program, because on the 7th of December, the cart will open, the program will start, and you will start working towards building your influence and your authority using the influence and authority method and the ACE formula. So I want to say thank you so much to Vic for joining the show today. That was a lot of fun. We should we got two more, but we should do this more often.
I want to tell you something. You are the best co-CEO in the world, and I love working with you, and I love making a difference in the world with you. We just have a really good time, and I just think I'm so blessed to have you as my business partner. And Thanksgiving's coming, so I just wanted to tell you that.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
that's so really sweet.
Nice. And the feeling is mutual. You guys probably see that we're on the show together. We've got a really nice friendship and chemistry when we're working together, and as we do with the rest of our team. And we're super grateful that we have them with us, because without them, this stuff just doesn't happen. But the systems and the processes that we've got, you guys are about to, we're going to unleash them, and
we're going to rock your world
inside of the program. So I hope you guys will join us inside of the influence and authority method, and that you will join us in really creating a movement that is going to start making a massive difference to people all over the world. Get your message out. The time is now. And as we always do when we wrap up today's, wrap up any show on the Unlock Show, it is about living your life unlocked. Get your message out there. Go unlock yourself, get the message out, and start impacting thousands. Thank you for joining us on the Unlock Show today. It's always our pleasure. We'll be back again next Wednesday on another episode of Unlocked. I'm Tracy Wilson, and that is my amazing co-host, co-CEO, and beautiful friend and business partner, Vickie Helm. Thanks for joining us. See you guys.